What if I let 5 other men touch you? His voice was a dark tease, fingers tracing my skin like he already owned it. I should have blushed. Should have slapped him. Instead, I held his gaze and whispered, "Would you let me?" His smirk vanished. Because this wasn't a game anymore. It was a promise. And by the time the 5th stranger's hands were on me, he realized too late. He wasn't the one in control. His words came like a joke, a soft laugh under his breath. His fingers still traced idle circles on my bare skin. What if I let 5 other men touch you? A pause. Would you do it? I didn't answer. Not because I didn't know, but because I did. He expected me to flinch, to cover myself, to roll my eyes and call him crazy. But I didn't. I turned my head, met his gaze, held it a beat too long, and said, "Would you let me?" That's when I felt it, the shift. The air between us changed in seconds. The next morning, he was quiet, watching me like he was trying to read between my eyelashes. "Did you mean it?" he asked, leaning in the doorway as I made coffee. I didn't look at him. I didn't need to. "You meant it first." He stayed there, silent, processing. Then, softly, "I thought you'd be scared. Or offended." I handed him his mug. You don't get to make offers like that and not expect an answer. He blinked. And right then, I saw it. He wasn't teasing anymore. He was terrified. Because now, it was real. Before we go deeper, if you're enjoying this story, take a second to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from and what time it is. I want to see how far this reaches. Now, buckle up. It only gets more intense from here. 3 days later, they arrived. 5 of them. Each one different. One older, one quieter, one with ink trailing down his arm, 2 who barely spoke at all. He brought them in like old friends. No explanations. Just an unspoken energy, thick and humming in the air. I sat cross-legged on the couch, wearing nothing but his oversized button-down. They didn't leer. Didn't gawk. But they saw me, the way men only look when they've already been given permission. He walked over, bent down, brushed a kiss to my temple, and whispered, "They know why they're here. The only one who decides if it happens is you." And just like that, it began. The first one approached without expectation. No demands, no rush. He touched me like I was a question he'd been waiting to ask. His lips hovered before they landed. His fingers moved like he didn't want to leave fingerprints. He didn't try to control the moment. He waited for me to open. And when I did, he didn't take. He just stayed. When I broke, it wasn't from pressure. It was from presence. And when he stepped away, I already missed the way he filled the silence. The second one didn't ask. He just was, thick arms, quiet breath, a stillness that settled over the room like gravity. He didn't move fast. Barely moved at all. Just pinned me in place with his body alone. Every touch was deliberate, like every stroke, every roll of his hips was meant to anchor something inside me. I clung to the couch like it was my only lifeline. But I wasn't afraid. I was awake. And when that pressure inside me finally snapped, he just exhaled and whispered, "There you are." The third one had eyes like confession booths. He didn't flinch, not when I bit my lip, not when I gasped, not when I reached for him like I'd been starved. He pulled me into his lap, cradled me with one arm, held my gaze with the other. His movements were precise. But his eyes, they stripped me bare, exposed something I didn't even know I'd hidden. And when I shattered, when the sound tore from my throat, he didn't blink. Just kissed my eyelids and said nothing. But I knew, he saw all of me. And he didn't look away. By the time the 4th stepped forward, I was barely breathing. But I didn't stop. Couldn't. He pulled me onto the floor, cushioned my head with his hand. Then the 5th moved in behind me. It should have been too much. It wasn't. They moved like they owned time itself, slow, deliberate, savoring every second. One kissed me while the other built the pressure, then reversed. I didn't know who was leading anymore. Didn't care. Their rhythm was mine. And mine was theirs. And when I came undone, it wasn't a fall. It was a release. One I never knew I needed that badly. The last one didn't move at first. Just sat, watching, waiting. Then, finally, he stood. He didn't ask. Didn't hesitate. Walked straight to me and said, low and firm, "Stand up." Like he owned me. So I did. What happened next wasn't like the others. It was quiet. Controlled. Almost too calm. But it cut deeper. He didn't fill the space, he carved it out. And when he finally touched me, I folded like paper. Because I wasn't ready. And he knew. But he still showed me the part of myself that couldn't hide. Not from him. When they left, the room still hummed. My body was covered in sweat and memory. But when I looked at him, I saw it. The surprise. The awe. The crack. He'd offered this thinking I wouldn't take it. But now that I had, something in him had shifted. He stepped forward, took my face in his hands, and whispered, "I didn't think you'd say yes." I smiled. "I didn't think you wanted me to." His mouth opened, then closed. Then, softly, he touched my lips and said, "Now I just want to be last." And he kissed me, not to claim, but to stay. The next morning, the city was still asleep. I sat curled in a chair, his hoodie wrapped around me, watching steam rise from my coffee. He came up behind me, rested his chin on my shoulder, held me like he never wanted to let go. "Are you okay?" he asked. I nodded. Then whispered, "You." A pause. "I gave you away, thinking I was strong enough to watch." He kissed the back of my neck. "I didn't know it would make me want you even more. Now, I want to hear from you. If you offered her something you thought she'd never take, what would you do when she finally said yes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, like, subscribe, and share with someone who'd dare to say yes. Stay tuned. The next one goes even deeper.